I am really excited about today's topic. So happy you can join me. I have so much to say, I don't know where to start it. I wonder if that can be my starting point. As you've seen in the title, the topic is my mental toolbox. This will run a few sessions, I'm not sure how many. I do like to categorize things, so there are some basic understandings that I have learned and taken some courses on and read about, and based in mindfulness and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, I found these two areas of knowledge so helpful in my day-to-day life. And, they're just not simple topics. They're topics that really um, show themselves in life in so many different ways, and there's so many different levels of growth and usage of these tools in your day-to-day life that there's just so much to talk about. So let me give you a summary of the mindfulness series and the topics that we'll cover. We are going to talk about arriving, being present, arriving in each situation. This can happen multiple times a day. It's tuning into your senses. How does your body feel? Uh, and once you do this, you can start to see different things that may challenge your perceptions. And, overall, just arriving really just connects you to your day and to yourself. And speaking of yourself, I'll also talk about breathing. Breathing is used to regulate can be used to regulate your emotions, can be used to physiologically regulate your body. It will definitely help to ground you and returns you to the moment, which is really just a pinnacle point of mindfulness. This is breathing is one that I find very huge in my toolbox, and it can take many different forms. So we'll get into that. We'll talk a lot about that. It's also quite a heavily used tool in meditation. Any meditation you take will probably focus you on your breath. So another topic that we're going to talk about is taking a pause. In this sense, it's not really arriving, but it's tuning more into your body, seeing what those emotions are, seeing what you're like in the present moment clearly, and noticing your actions and your responses to things. So making you aware of how you are in any real given moment in the day. The other topic we're going to talk about is meditate no matter what. I know for me, it's very difficult to sit and meditate, even though I'm sitting here discussing it. And I know the importance of meditating and having a practice of meditation. I still can't do it, and I struggle. However, meditating doesn't have to be something where you've created a space and you've got this, perfect pillow and you're smelling the incense and you're hearing the bowl or some sort of rhythmic vibration. But it really doesn't have to be that way. There's different types of meditation. You can do walking meditation, standing meditation, and we'll get into that. And it's very interesting as well. And you don't want to shortchange yourself there. Another big topic, and I find this one a big one in my toolbox, is being gentle on yourself. Life can get hard. I know so many examples in my own life just recently, this week, yesterday, um, today. I mean, every day, I just find so many reasons to say, you know what? I'm going to be gentle on myself. I'm going to just lower the expectations and see things differently and see myself differently. And this one I want to talk a lot about because it's very valid. There's so many different takes, so many different perceptions on it. And, we can really drive this one home and get you feeling really good about yourself. I know I do this for myself daily. and it builds and it grows, and it's not to say it's not working, but these things are all these tools in the toolbox you have to understand are things that you work towards. Your brain has been programmed in such a way that societal norms and expectations. I mean, all these things can really get in your head, and they can literally increase certain areas of your brain that are related to, let's say, causing you stress, for lack of better words. The left side of your brain is just saying, okay, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. And your amygdala, I mean, if you don't control these things, these areas get stronger in your brain and you just become more receptive to being stressed out. So we're going to change that. And a good way to help change that and help you along the way is being gentle on yourself. So that is a very important topic. And what I've also found, I don't know if this is necessary. Well, it is part of mindfulness. Actually, it is a huge part of mindfulness, and I've seen it with Buddhism and in essence, in a lot of different spiritual realms, that letting go is important. There's going to be loss, I think. Well, I know. So there's going to be loss, there's going to be pain, and it's about letting go. And the more you hold on to things, the harder it is to let go. And I think one thing that's constant, and we all know that's going to happen, is there will be an end of time for, let's say, a person or, a planet. Entropy just takes over and things fall apart and break down if we don't keep it together. And there's inevitable letting go that needs to happen, and that needs to be addressed. So we'll talk a lot about that. Our cognitive behavioral therapy series will look at topics such as the triangle experience, how your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors interact with one another. We'll look at the choice that you have of whether to respond or react. And this is just such a major topic and so worthwhile of discussion because you do have a choice. If you start to recognize your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, you'll find that you do have a choice whether to respond or react. Reacting is more of an emotional response, maybe throwing that second arrow, where responding is taking a pause, seeing your environment, getting new perspectives before you respond to a situation. Through this, we'll start to notice our thoughts and emotions. What thoughts come up? Why do they come up? And when do they come up? And why do you have these emotions towards things? Are they valid? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're overreacting in some situations. Lending to that, we can see that if we start to identify these thoughts and emotions, we can start swapping some thoughts and emotions. We can entertain ideas for new thoughts and new perspectives and be open to that and say, okay, I'm going to respond um, in this way. I'm going to think this way. I'm going to think this way about a situation. And you realize that you're probably going to get a different outcome, and that outcome could be something you like and adopt going forward, or something you don't, and you don't adopt going forward. So through that, we'll look at some techniques about how we can work with our feelings and behavior, and just approach things in a very humble, grateful, um, the humble student in life sort of way. So you may be asking yourself, what is the difference between mindfulness and CBT? And it's a very valid question, and it's not that one is used in place of the other. It's more that they're used together. So the way I like to look at it is mindfulness is more of awareness, observing your environment, observing yourself. and having that awareness, where cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is more about how you engage with others, engage with yourself in your thoughts and your beliefs on any situation you may have throughout the day and your life. So, lots of great things to talk about. I think that this intro video can be used to reference back to once the whole series is complete and you join me on that experience. Um, that these are reminders. It's sort of a checklist. Like you can come back to these pages that I've highlighted with these points and say, oh yeah, to be more mindful, I can take a pause. I can arrive, and then eventually these things will just be ingrained in your head, and you'll just have a very much more mindful experience and expand on your perceptions and experiences in a way that you didn't think you would be able to. So really hope you tune back in and please join me on this experience. Thank you.